Hi everybody, I've just put together a short video on a couple of things that we need to know for our internet class. So one is searching for information on the internet using our search engine. I usually use Google. And the other is printing from the internet. So if you're lucky enough to have access to a printer, how to print off information from the internet. So first of all, searching for information. Google is a search engine that I usually use, and I find it quite good and usually brings back the information that I want at the top of the list. However, I just want to draw your attention to a document that we would have used in class. Okay, so you might recognize this document. We would have done it just showing how we can narrow down our searches. Okay, so in this first box here, we've got just the word James Bond, and we would have written the number of websites found. And then we might have narrowed that down. So by putting parentheses or inverted commas around it, we are saying that we just want back the exact phrase James Bond. Okay, it has to have those two words in that order. And then to narrow down even further, if we take James Bond fan club, okay, we want those exact 4 words in that exact order. So by putting them in inverted commas or in parentheses, it means we want just that exact phrase in that order. And then moving on slightly, we've got the next one, which we've got James Bond in inverted commas and Roger Moore in inverted commas. So we want those names, but if Roger Moore appears first, that's fine. So by putting the plus in the middle, we want those 2 exact phrases, but we don't necessarily need James Bond to come first. Roger Moore could come first. Okay, so let's have a look at that on Google. So let me just open up the search engine. So if I type in James Bond, okay, and it brings back, you can see up here, 656 million results. Okay, so this is all the information on James Bond. Now, as you know, if you specifically wanted pictures, you can go in to images. If you wanted videos, you go into videos, and so on. But let's go back to all here. Okay, so we've got 656 million. Now, if I want just a specific phrase of James Bond, I could put that in parentheses, and we'll see that that has reduced down now to 91 million. Okay, if I wanted exact phrase James Bond fan club, you will see that in order to get that exact phrase, the number of websites has now reduced down. So I'm only getting websites back here that are specifically got to do with a James Bond fan club and should have that exact phrase in it. And if you see, you'll see the phrase there in the short description. Okay, so it's just a useful little tip on how to find information exactly that you need to try and, I suppose, cut out the information that you don't and just give you the information that you do need. Okay, so I would advise you, maybe if you still have that handout at home, to go back and have a look at it and maybe practice it again. And I will be sending you on a little assessment brief on it for your folder later on. Okay, so secondly then, is how to print from the internet. Okay, so I'm using Internet Explorer at the moment. So it'll be slightly different on Google Chrome, but hopefully, you know, if you're familiar with one, you should be familiar or work your way around the other one. Okay, so if I open up, say, one of these websites here. Okay, so I've gone into this one here. And let's say, I'm working my way through it here. Let's say I want to print off this page. Okay, so in order to print, I go up here to my tools. Okay, so it's like a little cogwheel. You click on it. I hover my mouse over print. Now, rather than choosing print straight away, I recommend that you go into print preview. And that will show you how many pages there are. Okay, So down here I can see there's 9 pages in total, and if I flick through them I can see all the information that's on each page. Is that okay? So say for example there page 9 has nothing on it. And it's always a good idea to flick through and see how many pages there are, because sometimes depending on the website there can be a lot of maybe advertisements and things at the end that you don't need. So in order to choose the pages that you want, I go up here and I click on the little printer icon on the left. Okay, now first section here, select printer. Okay, make sure that the printer that you want is listed here and that it's highlighted. Okay, so my printer is called HP1AD6EE, so that's selected for me. Okay, so that's the first important bit of information. The next bit of information is how many pages do you want to print. So by default all is selected. Okay, so if I left it at that, it will print all 9 pages. If I only want the page that's on the screen, I can click on current page and that will just print the page on the screen. If I want to print maybe pages 2, 3 and 4, I can just type in 2 to 4 here and it will print just the pages 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so you take control over exactly what you want printed, because I know ink is very expensive and you don't want to be printing unnecessary pages. Okay, and when you've that selected, you would just go ahead and click on print. Okay, now I'm just going to cancel at the moment because I don't want to print that off. There's just another thing that I wanted to show you that some websites have that's quite useful. So here is a search that I had done, and it was, say, searching for a recipe. Okay, so when I go in to this website, I'll just take a moment to load up. Now, so there's a lot of information here. Okay, but there's an option here to maybe just jump to recipe. Okay, which cuts out all the other bits of information and just giving me the recipe. Okay. So, jump to recipe. Now, just so you notice, there's an option here on some websites, actually within the website, so that you don't have to go up to settings, to offer you the option to print. And if a website has that, I would recommend that you use it, because what that does is gives you a nice print-friendly version of what you want. So you'll find sometimes with newspaper websites or recipe websites that there is a print option on the website itself, and that gives you a nice print-friendly version, and you can go ahead and print it from there. Okay, so that's giving you 2 ways to print. One is if the print option is on the web page, and again you have the option to do current page or various pages. Or if it doesn't give you a print option on the website, go up to your tools, hover over print and choose print preview. And as I say, I always recommend having a look at what it is that you're about to print before you send it to the printer, because as I say, the ink is expensive and paper is expensive, so have a look at what you're about to print before you print it off. Okay, that's it. I hope all of that makes sense.